Thank you for joining me for yet another unboxing video. And today we're going to be talking about Battlespace, the tabletop solo game of ultra-modern military combat, played by veterans, brought to you by Table Salt and Modifius, and it was created by Robert Salters. Now, why did I pick this up? Great question. Sometimes my kids aren't around to play games. My wife is not usually interested in playing games, so I have been, on Facebook and on Instagram looking around and on YouTube, and a lot of people have been playing solo games recently. So I've really never played any solo games. So I said, you know what? Let me pick this up and check it out. I already have lots of UltraModern figures, so I said, you know what? Why not put them to good use and try out a new system? So we have the core rulebook. We have some cards that come with this. So there's a lot of things that are included when you purchase this actual core rulebook. So let's go through everything one at a time. So right off the bat, again, we're talking about Battlespace, the tabletop solo game of ultra-modern military combat. Again, it's been played and play tested by veterans, brought to you by Robert Salters and Table Salt and Modifius. So let's take a look in the back. It says here, let's go on to the front, shall we say. Battlespace is a term used to signify a unified military strategy to integrate and combine armed forces for the military theater of operations, including air, information, land, sea, and space to achieve military goals. It includes the environment factors and conditions that must be understood to successfully apply combat power, protect the force, or complete the mission. This includes enemy and friendly armed forces, infrastructure, weather, terrain, and the electromagnetic spectrum within the operational areas and areas of interest, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense. Here are all the great people who brought you this game. Again, for more information, you can go to modifius.net. And this was released in 2022. So let's just read this introduction so we get a general idea of what kind of game we're talking about here when we talk about Battlespace. Shrouded in darkness and far from modern comforts, members of an elite military organization silently approach a dilapidated building. As they take positions, a cold determination sweeps across them. A door shatters. They enter, their movements fluid, their expectation of danger seared by the repetition of training of 100 rooms cleared. But this is no simulation. They advance without fear, with the anticipation of inevitable close-quarter combat. Regardless of the enemy numbers, these Tier 1 operatives have a mission to complete. They are the tip of the spear, and failure isn't an option. Battlespace is the game of ultra-modern military missions. It is a tabletop solo game designed to be easy to learn and quick to play. The player selects 4 pre-generated soldiers forming a fire team. They then enter a combat zone to achieve mission objectives. The soldier cards contain every stat required to get started, with minimal time flipping through the rulebook. The fire team can go into the fight with just their basic assets, or you can tailor the gear in each of the soldiers' loadouts. You can even build your soldiers from scratch with optional advanced rules. Be prepared to face a multitude of situations and increasing tactical depth with each game. The enemy AI in Battlespace takes the guesswork out of movement and positioning to keep gameplay fluid and intuitive. Each enemy force offers a different challenge, possessing a unique tactic for every enemy element. Battlespace sets itself apart from other solo skirmish games by incorporating a fog of war mechanic based on the sit-rep cards. This deck of cards gives the game a true sense of the uncertainties on the battlefield, adding a unique twist to the encounter and adding ultimate replayability. Welcome to the battle, and we have some great painted miniatures right here at the bottom. This is an agnostic miniature game, which means that you can use any type of figure from any type of game that you have. So let's see, what do you need to play this game? You need some models. You need, it says 25 millimeter bases, so 25 to 28 millimeter bases. You have dice. You need the cards. Cards are here. I'll show you those in a minute. Battlespace primarily uses 20-side dice, so you need a D20. Let's see what else we got here. Sit rep cards, those are also included. Enemy cards, which are also included. Gear cards, which are also included. Wound markers, which are also included. Suppression fire markers, activation markers. Background about the basic game. Setup for your first game. Here you go. It gives you a basic layout of a game you're going to be coming in. It says soldier attributes. You have hit points, initiative, accuracy, hand-to-hand, and your specialty. You have a faction specialty, loadout, how combat works, shooting attacks, line of sight, point-blank range, hand-to-hand combat. You have a throwing arc, or you're throwing a grenade or throwing a knife or something to that effect. You got the shooter. It's got this card in here. That's pretty cool, explaining it all. So if you throw the grenade, it comes lands over here. There's your throwing arc. Point of impact 7, 6, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to try to get a 3, 4 to get over towards that direction. 7, 8, you're going to wind up over here. 5, 6, more towards you, and 1, 2 down here. And there's your movement times 2 for advancing. That's very cool. All right. Then we've got here optional rules: Alpha Bravo deployment, staging mission areas, random populating mission areas, random enemies showing walking through. So you roll a d20. On a 1 to 3, this happens. On a 20, no enemies and 1 civilian is walking by. So again, very, very cool. You've got turn phases. You got the player phase, you got the sit rep phase, and then you got the clear phase. Explains what the player phase is, and explains to you what the basic orders are. You got movement. You can move, advance, sprint, or climb. Shooting attacks, fire weapon or aimed fire. Miscellaneous, you could throw the weapon, you could first aid, go to ground, or use gear. Again, these cards will help you to tell you what you can do, which is awesome. Movement orders. You got advance, sprint. You got shooting attacks, fire weapons, aimed fire, miscellaneous, throwing weapons. It's got background of all that information here. Free orders to do what you want to do. Now it says about friendlies. Friendly models in the same fire team do not block line of sight and can be moved throughout without penalty. This represents team members being aware of each other's positions. Friendly models from different fire teams block line of sight, but can be moved through without penalty. That's good to know. Again, some more great miniatures painted up. And then you have your sit rep phase, so drawing the card, move and engage, and then you have your clearing phase. You have your enemy AI. So you're going to be, the AI will be controlling you're going to be the good guys, they'll be controlling the bad guys, or you'll be the bad guy, and the AI will control the good guys. So you got enemy stragglers, enemy element, enemy movement, enemy element movement, enemy combat, enemies who are killed in action, and spawning locations from where they are. Then you got your advanced rules. So this is when you want to create, again, they have some pre-generated characters, which I'll show you in a little bit. And those are provided for you. So if you want to create your own cards and create your own characters, this is where you start in the advanced rules section. The first 14 pages are pretty much the basic game of understanding the ideas of movement, firing, and getting into the game. Advanced rules just adds to what's in the beginning of the basics. So you got gear points, drift roll, you've got civilian, stealth, civilian reactions, night missions versus stealth, advanced combat rules, cohesion, staying within the 4-inch rule, obscured cover, solid cover, enemies in solid cover, advanced orders that you can do, suppression fire, throwing weapons, low toss, long toss, linking, drawing your holster sidearm, weapon jam, man down, dragging down to models, critical wounds, prone, vehicles, vehicle protection, targeting a vehicle, not the person who's driving it, seating, drivers and pilots, wounds from mounted weapons, vehicle characteristics, optional rule, crash survivors, suppression fire on a vehicle, collisions, attacking vehicles with grenades, explosion charts. You got that here. You got an explosion chart. You roll your d20. On a 1 to 2, you get this: 3 to 4, 5, 6, 9 to 20. Amphibious vehicles, air vehicles, helicopters. And there's your vehicle charts telling you all about the different vehicles you can use in the game. And then, of course, you use the example of play. Soldier 1, Soldier 2, Soldier 4, Soldier 3. And then if you want to create your own characters, they got things like that. Statistics, specialties, star specialties, 2-star, 3-star. Different things that you can add on to them. I'll leave mine in. Different things. 2-star specialties, cover that zone, find some cover, true valor, southpaw, taking point. I'm in the fight, move to that position, let's move. So these are different skills that your characters you can add into to make them a little stronger. 3-star specialties, which is also the highest level. Patch these guys up, drop them golden gloves, weapons free, cover the rear, sink shot, teamwork. You got factions, you got the CIA, you got Delta Force, SAS, Spetsnaz. You got enemy forces, Navy SEALs, Crime Syndicate, Dark Lake Tactical Group, Insurgents, Militia. Individual mission types, mission 1, mission 2, mission 3. Give you all the things. You have the objectives, what your objectives are, your turn limit, additional notes about it. table setup, how you would set your table up so people know where everything starts. Again, setups. Again, mission 4, mission 5, mission 6, all set up the same way. Then we have linked missions, Operation Pandora's Fury, mission 1, Dirty Hands, 2, Clean House, mission 3, The Chemist, mission 4, The Chemist, conclusion. Then you have your glossary of terms that you'll need to know throughout the thing. Special thanks from the author. Then in the back you have your quick reference sheet about all the things we just talked about. And this will have both the beginning level and your advanced levels on here. And then your different operatives, the different rankings that they all have. So Delta 4, hit points 4, INV 7, ACC +1, and hand-to-hand is +1 as well. So if you're shooting, doing hand-to-hand, all those types of things, there you go. And different enemies that you'll be fighting as well. So it's quick. They have a lot of quick references, which is really, really cool. So if you want to jump in the game real quick and you want to just make a quick, put this on your phone, you can take a picture of this. These are your CIA field operatives who maybe you're going to try to find. If you're going to be fighting Navy SEALs or Spetsnaz, you're fighting the criminal syndicate, you could have all this information right at your fingertips. So that's really, really cool. So what I would wind up doing, I'd be making photocopies of these sheets and giving it to the other players. So I'm playing the bad guys, I think I would keep a sheet for myself. If I'm the good guy, I'll have the sheet, and then one sheet for the bad guys as well, whoever's controlling them. Again, it's a solo mission, so it's good to have the information right at your fingertips like that. And they're hawking their other games that Modiphius has released, including 5 Parsecs from Home, which is a really, really great game. Never played this game myself. So there's your core rule book, which has the basic and your advanced rules in there. Then, again, it came with a bunch of sets of cards as well. You have your player sheet, which we'll start off with. Soldier tracking sheets. Here's some health markers for you if you need those. Your specialties. And your rankings. And there's your back. Battlespace says, welcome to the game of ultra-modern military missions. Tabletop solo game, easy to learn and quick to play. And what's included is a 48-page rulebook. Now I'm going into the soldier cards, the gear cards, the enemy cards, and the sit rep cards, plus 2 maneuver cards. So there you go, right here. So that's important to have right there. That's your character sheets. So here we have our set rep cards. Now, these are cards, so they pop out very nicely, nice and smooth. Again, are they as good as baseball, like a card that you get with a baseball card, something like that, or in a board game? Not necessarily. They're a little thinner, but they're nicely done, and they pop out very, very easily, and that's good to know. So again, you have all different kinds of cards here. So these are your, what we call your sit rep cards. So let's take a look at one. It says, I have movement. A straggler enters the mission area from the nearest building or terrain feature, car door, building door, brush, etc. To the soldier with the highest initiative, if 2 or more soldiers have an equal initiative, the player must choose. Again, you have now had a trap in the IED, enemies alerted, 16+ soldier catches it just in time and disables a tripwire. Then you take this one out of your game. So you have a bunch of different cards here. You have that's big boy, contact, trap. We are pinned down, contact, and enforcement. So that's some of your sit rep cards. Again, I can't put those back in there, so I'm just going to put them in there like that for now. You have a bunch of sit rep cards. You have some more here. Let's see what these are. Yes, you have more of these. So these to me look more like they're more like event cards. So it tells you what's going to be happening throughout the game. Different things that you're going to run into that you didn't maybe plan for, that you might not have planned for. Again, to pop out very, very easily. So you got contact rear, sniper, regroup, technical. He's got cover. They're holding position and regrouping. So that's more sit rep. Then we have another sheet of set rep here. We have shots fired. He has intel. See what that said. The enemy furthest from the last soldier that attempted an initiative roll becomes an objective. You must subdue him, win hand-to-hand combat. You receive the enemy's intel, and he is removed from the mission area. The soldier that subdued the enemy receives +1 to his rolls for the remainder of the mission. Remove this card from the game. They're engaging us. IED. War cry. So let's see what this says. 6, roll immediately. The first soldier that attempted an initiative roll this turn has stepped onto an IED. If failed, the soldier receives 3 wounds. All models in the AoE are knocked prone if the soldier fails. Remove this card from the game. I have movement, shots fired, lost my balance, and war cry. That's more sit reps right there. So like I said, that's, to me, that would be more like an event card. Now you have a couple more sit rep cards, and you have your throwing arc, Battlespace movement card, all that stuff like that. From the back are the same, which is great. Then you have Lost Visual, Gear Drop, RPG. He's got cover, lost visual, and get that civilian safety. The civilian enters the mission area from the farthest building or terrain feature from the last soldier that attempted an initiative roll. The soldier that moves into base contact with the civilian receives +2 to his initiative rolls for the remainder of the mission. The civilian is then removed from the mission area. So you got your sit rep and your two. These are your two movement cards. And then you have cards for your enemy cards. So you have Insurgent Fighters, Element, TL9, hit points 1, a weapon they're using is an AK-47. It says when a model from the element is killed in action, the element will immediately make a full move away from the soldier that made the attack if he's in line of sight of at least one model in this element. If the element is reduced to one model, it becomes a straggler. So you got Insurgent, Fighter, and Leader, Militia General, Sympathizer, Militiaman, Militia Warlord, Insurgent Sniper, Insurgent Soldier. Again, this is all about modern combat. And then we have, some other cards, stuck together. So we have our soldiers, Battlespace soldiers. The cards are popping out like crazy. They can't wait to hit the table. That's awesome. So these are different soldiers that you can play. So we got Maxwell from Delta Force, Gresham, Han, Baybrook, Lawler, Farley, Speed. Again, it tells you your hit points, your initiative, basically your if you're going to, this is basically if you're going to do a marksman shot on them, and here hand-to-hand is +1. When Maxwell moves into hand-to-hand combat, his roll is at +2. Okay, and then we have Speed down here, Farley, and we have Lawler. And the card that fell out is Krebs. I think we saw Krebs, he was mentioned in the core rulebook, so that's good. So again, I'm going to throw these cards right back in here. And then we have another sheet here. We have soldiers, and we have some gear cards. So let's flip this over. Again, the soldier cards have this star on them, and the gear have the grenades on them. So let's see what we got here. Let's go here again. You could be Ross, Dahlquist, Crawford. You have a grenade launcher, medic, automatic gunner, designated marksman, and a team leader. So some of that stuff you got there. And we've got things are just pre-cut, but they get stuck a little bit, and like I said, they're popping out a little bit. Again, you got more gear cards. So you got your KA bar combat knife, you got UVA drone, you got EOD drone explosive, you've got a tactical ram, you got NOD night optical device, laser designator, forward grip, and ACOG scope. Cool. More gear. Frag grenade, flashbang grenade, suppressor, translator, Caesar attack dog. Let's see what that says. Caesar begins missions in base contact with his handler, the soldier that has the card in his loadout. Caesar gives +1 hand-to-hand to his handler when he is in base contact with him, and his handler is in hand-to-hand. If Caesar handler is killed in action, remove Caesar from the game. Cost 1 order. Caesar can target any straggler in his line of sight, then move up to 2 advances and make a hand-to-hand +3 attack. Caesar can move, advance for free when his handler is given an order to move or advance. There can only be 1 Caesar in a mission. Effing Scar, smoke grenade, and a tourniquet. And we have some more possible soldiers that you can be. You have Marizaldi, Rivers, Bastion, Pena. You have Singletary, Peppers, Crowder. And we also have this card here, which we'll take a look at. Christian, he's a Navy SEAL. Hit points, again, that's his initiative, armor class, and hand-to-hand. Christian does not suffer the -1 modifier for receiving 3+ wounds. Okay. And then we have even more soldiers that we can be. So they give you a lot of variety, which is very, very cool. So you're not using the same cast of characters all the time. So I like this. It's got pre-generated characters. So if I don't want to play the advanced role set and I just want to get a game where I'm using my own against like miniature agnostic, you can use your own figures, which makes it even better. I can just pull out these cards and use them for pre-made characters. You don't have to spend any time creating characters or anything like that. I do like that a lot, actually. It gives you a lot of different choices here as well. Wilkinson, Benedict, Palter, Curry, McDonald, Smart, Zelinsky, and Norse. Let's take a look at Norse. Again, hit points 4. Initiative is 9. Armor class is +3. Armor class hand-to-hand is +2. The ACC, it might be targeting. If you're doing, you're going to wait to fire, you might get a +3 to your roll. Norse can use one of his orders to give a soldier in line of sight an advanced order. Okay, and these are all Navy SEALs. And we have a couple more sheets here. We have more enemies, and we have a bunch of more soldiers to choose from, which is awesome. These are SAS and Spetsnaz. So depending on which type of characters you want to use, they have people for those. The SAS, Spetsnaz, so the Russians. All right, then we have over here CS Underboss, Straggler Element. That's the type of weapons he has. The Underboss has 2 bodyguards, TL10, HP3, that stay in base-to-base contact with him. The Underboss is considered a straggler, but is an element while he has his bodyguards. If both bodyguards are killed in action, the Underboss uses movements to exit the nearest edge of the mission area. If the Underboss exits the mission area, the mission is failed immediately. Okay, I have a lot of modern soldiers, so this might be very, very cool to check out. Really looking forward to this. Then we got more enemies here that you can choose from. Again, they're controlled by AI, so basically they're going to do based on the cards that we were in back here, which is the random occurrences, which I would call event cards, with the sit rep cards. That's going to make it make the game even more interesting. So you got Consigliere, your Goons, Dark Lake Heavy, Dark Lake Operative, Insurgent Fighters, Dark Lake Fire Team, the Commander, and you have a Straggler right here. It says, what's it here? It says, when solved, Dato is in hand-to-hand combat. This TL is +2. Again, all of these abbreviations, all of the stats and everything else that's explained to you in the core rulebook. And that is everything. So you got all these different types of cards, which are awesome, that you just punch those right out and you can get right into the game. You can create, if you want to create your own characters, you have your character sheet over here. And then you have your core rulebook, which has the basic and advanced rule systems in it. So this is everything that's included, and this concludes our unboxing of the tabletop solo game of ultra-modern military combat Battlespace, brought to you by Table Salt and Modifius Entertainment, created by Robert Salters and play-tested by veterans. So as always, thank you so much for joining me for this unboxing video. It's truly appreciated. If you enjoyed the video, you could always give us a thumbs up and leave a comment below. You could also hit that subscribe button. This way you're kept up to date as to any time we release new content to the page. As always, thank you so much for joining us. Be safe, be well, enjoy the remainder of your day. I'll catch you on the next unboxing video.